these should look familiar. So these are the pyramids at Giza. I can't remember who it was. One of you in your, like, where in the world you'd want to go said the pyramids. It's pretty spectacular. And as I'm very sure a lot of you know, they were tombs. Okay, so this is fascinating to me. So what you're looking at is a statue of Ramses II, who was a pharaoh. Pharaohs are supposed to be divine beings. So I took a lot of art history classes in college because I could. I had no idea. I was like, well, you get to study art and history? Like, that's a thing? Who knew? It's such a treat. I wish we had it at Westview. Anyways, so I was taking an art history class. It was a very, very weird class because there were only 6 humans. I went to a very small college here. I'm not from here, but I moved here to go to Reed College, just down the road from where I am. So there are 6 humans and 10 dogs in the class. Partly my fault because 3 of the dogs were mine. But we'd all be sitting there. We would, study pieces of art. I remember the day we did this. So we're studying this. There's a big slide projected on the wall of this, and the professor is asking me like, "Okay, what do you see? What?" So I'm constantly a smart ass, and I was like, "Dude's missing his top half, right?" The professor was like, "You're being a dick. That's not what we're studying." Right? I was like, "Well, I don't know what you want from me. Like, I don't know what's significant." So we go around and around. Everyone has to say what they see and what they don't see. Finally, I have nothing left to say. And I was like, okay, I see a belly button. And I thought I was being a smartass, but I do see a belly button. At which point the professor threw a king-size Snickers my way, which meant that I had won the prize for the day. I no longer can eat Snickers because my insulin levels, but that was like a proud moment. So then he says, "Now tell me why the belly button is significant." And I was like, "Dude, I do not know. We all have one. I don't see what the big deal is." So we kind of keep arguing about this. And eventually I was like, it means he has a mom, right? This earned me my second king-size Snickers, which was like the best of the best days. So if you take a moment to consider, you have the quote unquote most civilized society at the time is led by divine beings, which means that they cannot be overthrown. They have omnipotent power. They're not human until you get this first statue of Ramses II with a belly button that shows that he's human. He has a mom, he has earthly connections, which means that he can die, and then his power does not necessarily come from another world. So that one statue, that one belly button, even though the top half is gone, kind of changes human civilization and social history. And earned me 2 Snickers. Good. Oh, this is interesting. So that's the Sphinx, which I think a lot of you recognize. There's a lot of different carvings of the Sphinx. The British colonial soldiers, when they were in Egypt, would use their faces as target practice, which is why he's got no nose. It's messed up. This is back in Cambodia at Angkor Wat. So these are, Angkor Wat is a Buddhist temple, but these are all from the Upanishads and the Rig Vedas, which are Hindu sacred. This is awesome. If you're looking at this and you're like, it feels familiar. Have I been there? that's weird. I've never been to a temple like that. This temple was the model for that Laura Croft Tomb Raider movie. If any of you have seen that, that's what you're looking at. This is the real one. Also a moment of art history / anthropology, it's all the same thing. If you look at the archway here made out of stone, this is a very, very significant example of the architectural engineering that you have that predates what we find in basilicas and cathedrals in Europe. The significance of that, and the reason I'm pointing this out, is because if you read art history, there's all of this literature, the architects saying that having these domes in the cathedrals and churches, that was quote unquote proof of white superiority, that they could engineer a dome like that for worship. Problem being, you have these arches and domes that predate what you find in Europe by thousands of years. So obviously, that was a racist interpretation of architectural design, but this was when you can actually prove that the same kind of engineering happened before, then you have a stronger case. Even having those stone spans that go across, to engineer that is significant. Oh, okay, so now we're back in Varanasi, India, Ganga. Has anyone been to Varanasi? Okay, so what you're going to see, there's a lot of different images. We'll talk about these more at the end of the quarter as well. So a lot of people go there and observe puja. It's like a prayer-ish meditation. If you can go there on a pilgrimage in your lifetime, if you're Hindu, that's considered a good thing. And there's some people, for a number of people, who believe that if you can go there and do ritual ablutions, which is like a ritual washing, which is what you're seeing, that could increase your chances for a better incarnation in the next cycle of moksha. And just the next cycle of life, basically. If you can't go there, what you can do sometimes is you can like send something to be blessed in the river. It's still supposed to help more than hurt. If possible, you would be cremated there. I would not wash my dentures in that river. That's just me. I have gone swimming in it, which horrified people, but if there's water, I will go swimming. It's just what I do. Some sections are for men, some are for women, some are for tourists. And then in a second, okay, this is important. This is a ritual barber who's shaving the man in the center. The man in the center is going to lead a cremation prayer. There's tons of symbolic colors and markings. So she's doing puja. There are different religious castes. So like this man, that white string you can kind of see across his chest, that tells me that he's Brahmin, which is the highest religious caste, right? These are some bodies that are being prepared to be washed, more ritual ablutions, to then go into a cremation. So it takes about that much wood to burn a body. And then you find there's a lot of the same rituals at birth, marriage, and death. You get a lot of the same colors, a lot of the same symbols. We'll study traditional Indian weddings in a couple of weeks, but there's a lot of this idea of circles, counterclockwise circles, circles of 7. There are people who are there, you can see them right there wearing the white. Their job, and this is their caste in life, is to keep the fires of the cremation going. I've been exactly there quite a few times. It smells pretty bad, I'm gonna be totally honest. So what you do is you take mint leaves and you like roll them up and you shove them in your nose. So heads up if you're ever going to a cremation. A lot of times people, even if they don't have a person that they're mourning, they're around this space and they're praying and meditating. And the idea is that will help the Atman, same Atman, cycle up, and it could help their own spirit in the next cycle. Okay, so this is someone who just had ritual shaving done. He's going to walk around the body counterclockwise 7 times. So that's a person's body being cremated. The Indian government has tried to discourage, these are called the Ghats, tried to discourage doing as many cremations at this spot in the Ghats because of pollution, honestly. So they built like a public crematorium, but my understanding is most people are pretty reluctant because there's such a profound belief that that spot being the site of creation for Hindus, that spot is significant. Okay, this is just the filmmakers showing off. So it's time-lapse photography. It's so beautiful. On 70 millimeter film stock from an airplane. I think they won an Academy Award just for that scene. And then filming the eclipse, which was again them completely transforming cinematography. Oh, this is amazing. Okay, this is in Japan. This is in Kyoto. This is a Zen Buddhist monk. Kyoto was going to be bombed in the war, so it's hindering folk, but the pilot disobeyed orders. Kyoto, if you can ever get there in your lifetime, just go. It's stunning. Truly, truly amazing. And very good food. I was going to say that. Okay, so now this is a Maasai person. He's going to do this for 8 hours. And he's clearing some air. I do like 2 box jumps at the gym and I'm done, like peace out. But he's going to do this for 8 hours. And it's spirit possession. He says it's not him. Okay, so this is the whirling like whirling dervishes again. You can kind of see the person in the center-ish of the screen is wearing that beautiful, like lighter blue. So that's someone, excuse me, who's not fully initiated yet. Only men. Always counter clockwise, and they're reciting the 99 names of Allah. And they do this for about 14 hours. It's really heavy fabric, so it kind of sets up a momentum. Cool. Okay, now we're back in Jerusalem at the quote unquote Wailing Wall. Now we're in the Vatican. And that again is considered a relic from Jesus Christ. Okay, this is stunning. Let me play for a second. So this is Mecca. Nice. At the very center, what you're seeing, I wish I could write this in Arabic for you. That's the best transliteration I can do. It's called the Kaaba. And the belief is at the center of it and protected by the Kaaba structure is a fossilized footprint from Adam and Eve, from Genesis. So in Islam, the Old Testament is considered a sacred text, as is the Torah. They just believe that their prophet Muhammad was the final prophet. So the more you study this, the more fascinating it gets. You enter through, obviously, the outside of Mecca. You go through ritual washings and ablutions. The white is what the white clothing that you see the majority of people wearing, you buy that there. It's actually a process. And then you do the pilgrimage. There's a lot of background to that if anyone's interested. But then when you leave the pilgrimage, that is the clothing that you will be buried in when you die. So you walk around 7 times clockwise. So you're going to go around the Kaaba 7 times. It's called circumambulation. Yeah, circumambulation. So you're going around 7 times to replicate the days of creation. By the time you can take more than 7 times. I've had a lot of students go on the Hajj, and they're like, yeah, it took me a lot longer. This is a light traffic day. There are days that, I mean, it's packed, right? So you have a few million people doing Hajj at the same time. If you can go to Hajj and do pilgrimage, that is considered a blessing. If you cannot go, that's okay. It's not like there's any sort of punishment. It's just supposed to be in your heart that you would want to go on pilgrimage. So the Hajj, it's one of the 5 pillars of Islam, but pilgrimage can also be metaphorical, if that makes sense. And again, these images are incredible. This is the first time anyone had, yeah, only Muslims are allowed in Mecca. So they had a Muslim film crew. They also had permission from the King of Saudi Arabia, and the leading 12 imams around the world to get this footage. I remember when I was watching this in the IMAX, I was like, are you kidding me? Because I'd been studying this, but I had never seen live footage. Incredible. And you can't tell, but on the Kaaba, the fabric is velvet, and it's embossed with the 99 names of Allah. Amazing. Men and women can go on the Hajj. It's predominantly male, but women are absolutely allowed as well. The collective Muslim community is called the Jama. There's no graven images. So there's no images in Islam. That's considered heresy. Instead, you have calligraphy. Okay, so here they're juxtaposing, it's actually in Turkey, the Hagia Sophia with the Vatican. That is the Archangel Gabriel, who's called Jin Jibril in Islam. So it's the same holy figure. This is nuts. This is one hallway in the summer palace of the King of Saudi Arabia. And that's real. Like it's real. This is a different hallway. The other one was gold based. This is silver. It's very subtle. Now we're back in the Vatican. This is the inner sanctum. So tourists cannot go to this part of the Vatican. So this is after the body is cremated in Varanasi. You put some of the ashes with those really cute little marigold flowers. They're like little orange pom-pom things. And then you send it out into the river and it's considered a blessing. You also see those same little pom-pom flowers at birth and marriage rituals. Back in Angkor Wat. And again, I know that this is like sleepy time footage, but it's kind of a big deal to be able to film the night sky and actually see stars. Hmm. I think. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's jump it ahead. Play. Oh, this is cool. This is an Arches National Monument in Utah. It's probably some of you have been there. It's really cool. It's super awesome backpacking. Oh, Monument Valley. I swear I'm so good with geography, but I forget New Mexico. It's in the Southwest. We'll just say Southwest. And inexplicably to me, they put this tree in every film they make. I mean, it's cool, but there's some sort of touchstone for them. And that is actually the end of the film.